Alright, so um, one cheat meal a day will not make you fat. And one healthy meal will not make you lean. So staying consistent with meal prepping will bring the physical desires, the physical appearance you desire. Um, in high school, my sophomore year, I was that strong. And I weighed at 110 pounds. And I was made fun of for it. So I decided to start meal prepping and exercising. Since then till junior year, I was at 150. And today I just want to highlight for you that meal prepping could bring benefits like a healthier lifestyle. It can save time and money. And it can really alter your physical appearance. Alright, so combined with physical activity, your diet can reach and maintain a healthy diet. So it could avoid diseases, chronic diseases like diabetes, hypertension, and high blood pressure. And by making the right food choices, you can maintain a healthy weight and avoid all these diseases. And for today's obesity rate in the U.S., 1/3 of adults are obese, and 17% of children and teenagers are obese as well, from 2 through 19 years old. So now that you know that it's easy to have a poor diet, that you could really save time and money with meal prep. Right, so you can save money by, instead of going out every night spending $10, $15 on every meal, you can spend those $10 to $15 for meals at the grocery store that can last for a week or half. And save time that your meals are already prepped for you. And how many of us have really just like looked in the refrigerator and not know what to eat, not know what to make? So since then, meal prepping, your meals will be ready for you to eat. You don't have to think about it or waste any time. So it can really alter your body as well. As you can see, this is Raven from that one TV show, That's So Raven. She dropped 70 pounds. And meal preps to drop weight, you can have meals like that's focused on protein, fats, and low in carbs. So a meal would be like chicken with sweet potatoes and mushrooms would only be 380 calories. And to gain weight, you have meals that focus more on protein and carbs. So you have something like salmon with white rice and veggies. And so you guys know that's Zac Efron. This is when he was shooting the movie 17. He was weighing here at 150 when he was shooting Neighbors. And this is he was weighing at 170 when he was shooting Baywatch. As you can see, it's not impossible. If he can do it, we all can do it. And now that you guys know the benefits, and I'm pretty sure you guys are capable to meal prep starting today.
Yeah.
Let's take me.
You can hit the picture mute on the dashboard and that would cut down a little bit on that.
Pick me. don't know what
At first, I was like,
Golden, share with us your thoughts, please.
Um, your attention device is kind of new. I liked your personal story, but you could have gone like more in depth with it. And then, since you didn't have a preview, your transition needs work. I couldn't really tell when you went on to like the different subjects, and especially your conclusion. I didn't even know that you were almost done. And your visuals were effective, but it was more like a PowerPoint than like just visuals. So.
All right. Yeah, I think you've got this quote at the beginning. I'm not sure if it's a quote or if it's your own statement, you know, about one cheat meal a day isn't going to do this, one healthy meal a day isn't going to do that. And I'm going, okay, so who says this? Is this you? Is this based on your experience? Is this some expert in this particular field? And, you know, what if I have one healthy meal a day and one cheat meal a day? Isn't that balanced? Isn't that what we're looking for? It seems like that's perhaps a little bit problematic. I know what your subject is. You do a pretty good job about explaining that and identifying it at the beginning of the speech, except that you don't tell us what you mean by meal prepping. It sounds to me like you're talking about planning a week's worth of eating, of meals, and putting them together ahead of time so that you have something ready each time a meal comes up. So I'm getting this idea that that what ultimately you're talking about is like creating your own, you know, TV dinner, for lack of a better word, you know, that you could go to the refrigerator and you'd have a plate, a tray of food, you know, a container of food. This would be a meal that you prepared like on Sunday, and then you would have one for every day of the week to take care of those things. I think that's what you're talking about, but I'm not sure. You know, are you talking about just eating at home and making sure that you prepare your food at home on a regular basis? Because when you're talking about how much it costs and you make a comparison to what it would cost you to go out, I'm going, okay, so on a daily basis, if I did this, and you know, if the prep time is different doing it on a daily basis than it is doing it all at once, and that's one of the advantages, then you kind of have to explain that a little bit more. And I didn't really think that that was very clear in the presentation. I don't know what Golden thinks PowerPoint is, you know, because there are pictures in the image, but I think what he's referring to is that a lot of your opening slides just have script on them. And the script is, that part I would agree with, that's a little bit dry. So for instance, if you're talking about doing is it what I've described? The meal prep is like doing a week's worth of food at the beginning of the week?
Yeah.
Is that kind of what you're talking about? So where's the picture of your refrigerator? You know, with all of the food that's stacked up there in these neat rows ready for you to pop in or heat up or bring with you to school each day. I'm thinking that's what I should be seeing. The closest I get to a description of a single meal is what Raven had. You know, she got some chicken and some sweet potatoes, and I'm not even sure if there was a third thing. I got a little bit of with Zac Efron. I know that he's a salmon rice guy, you know, that kind of stuff. But I'm going, so I'm preparing 7 pieces of salmon and a cup of rice each day. I'm going, I'm ready to kill myself if that's what I want to, if that's what I'm eating every day. Is there variety in the menu? What is it that you're looking for? How do these things keep? For instance, I mean, do you have to freeze them, or do you have to keep them in the refrigerator, or do you just put the ingredients together and cook them when you need them, or is it heating? You cook them all at once and heat. There's stuff that's missing from your speech, and I know that you've got an interesting topic here that could be really effective. and you've got some information in it that's going to go along with what you're talking about, but you need to add to it. You need to make it a lot more full and descriptive than we've got here. I was so happy to see the pictures of Raven and Zach show up, because that does make it a little bit more interesting. And did you hear how you got an audience reaction when you showed the That's So Raven image, you know, that's going on there? You're not getting a reaction like that earlier with all of the script stuff, because it's not particularly interesting. That's why I think seeing the food, or thinking about what the caloric intake of the food is, or what, a timetable, you know, how long it takes to put those things together, how long you can store stuff in the refrigerator, something like that would help a little bit, so that we're not finally so relieved, oh thank God, a picture showed up now, and that makes it more interesting. Not that I like the picture, you know, like I said, but it feels like it's afterthoughts rather than integrated into the speech as well as it should be. All right, thank you. I'm still trying to